Welcome to another podcast. Today we're going to go over basic logo design. So what we'll do is we'll pop right into Illustrator as usual, and I design all my logos in vector format. I don't see any other choice that's better. So what we'll do is I go ahead and have my artboard here, and this is a logo I've already designed and the client's already using. It's called Divine Wine Market, and they are a wine market and a fine wine and cheese and bread market too. So they sell a lot of gourmet foods and gourmet wine and beverages. So we kind of want to keep with that gourmet style. So I talked with the client already, and they talked with me about a color scheme, about using tan colors and deep red colors. So those are kind of colors I wanted to stick to. And they wanted kind of a whimsical, fun feel, but yet very gourmet and very high-end feel. So what I like to do is, I've already done this because it takes quite a bit of time, this took me about 2 to 3 hours, is I'll go ahead and sketch out some basic concepts. Like, we're obviously dealing with wine, so I have wine bottles here. So I actually did this wine bottle with a pen tool, and what I did is I actually got a picture of a wine bottle from Google and sketched it out with the pen tool. So what's a better guide than an actual picture of wine? And I did that with this bottle as well. And then added some of my own highlights and shadows. Same thing with this. This is actually a vine that I traced with the pen tool and kind of made a little bit of changes to make it better for a logo. And same thing with this, and same thing with the grapes. These are just circles with a smaller, lighter color circle for highlights, and then the vine or the stem throughout the grapes. So that's what I did with all these. Once we have our basic symbols and ideas all out here, it's just a matter of dragging and figuring out what goes best. So what I do is, obviously we're going to need to have some text. So I like to separate the words. So it's divine, and then I'll click off, and then I'll click onto another text and put wine. And then lastly, it's market. So I like to keep all these elements separate so we can move them around how we want. If we want to have it staggered like this, or if we want to align something perfectly, there's a neat tool within Illustrator called the Align tool, and it's found usually by default. The window will be open. And you can click, you can center align it, you can align it to the left, align it to the right, and it's mathematically perfectly aligned. So that's always a neat tool when you're doing logos, to make sure you're perfectly aligned. And so we'll have it like this. So now we can change the font to how we want. So we'll do a fun, whimsical font. Let's do this one. And so we kind of have this going on here. And what's neat about the Align tool is, if I want to do a quick alignment right here, okay, we have that, and we want to do it perfectly centered, we got it already. So we're going to want to make this bigger, so we'll hold down Shift, make it bigger, and we can start to add some of our elements. So I really like this D, so we'll drag this D right here, and this is just simply, this is actually a highlighted little section I did with the pen tool, and it's over, this is a gradient to make it look like a bit of lighting effects, and then just the letter D. So that's all this little block is, nothing too complicated. Okay, so now we kind of have that. I think that's a little bit overwhelming, so we'll make this smaller. And let's kind of add some of our elements. And let's make sure it's first aligned perfectly. So let's group these together. Let's see. We'll group those together so those don't align within each other. We'll highlight and we'll center it. So now it's perfectly centered. So let's make some grapes here. We'll take our grapes that we've already pre-drew with the pen tool, we'll make it smaller, and let's hang them up right here. And I think I want to go with a wine glass. So let's select a wine glass and put it right here to the side. So I think that can go a little bit smaller. And so once we draw these out, you see how simple it is to create neat logos. And we can go in and change these grapes to more of a, to red grapes to match everything. And then we could change this font. Let's make it bolder. So we're going to go to font, and we're just going to do this for example. We'll go to impact, even though that's a way overused font. It's fun to do effects with. So we have this, but what I want to do is create a neat gradient effect for this text. And right now it's not outlined, as you can see. So what we'll do is we'll just simply go to Type, Create Outlines, and now we have some outlines, and now we can make some neat effects with this. So let's click on this default. I know this won't match, but just for the sake of demonstration, now we have a neat gradient effect that we can use, and we want to change that to match the logo better, but that's just an example of things that you can do. So let's go ahead and delete this concept. This is something I already developed up here. It's a little bit more elaborate, but the client came back and said, I really want something simple. Rarely do you land a logo the first one you do. Sometimes you have to go through many samples. So this is an example of one I was trying to work with earlier, and I just put some grapes that matched the color scheme better, and they liked it, but they were looking for something a little bit more whimsical, less new age, Web 2.0. They didn't like that, so this is what I ended up designing. They loved this one. They just liked the simplicity of it, and they wanted the text to be integrated in the logo. So you kind of see how the V turns into the vine, and then I used the same grapes up there. I used them right here and made them purple. So that's how that worked. And usually I like to align my concepts up when I present to the client, so let's make this smaller. So let's say I had these 3 to present to the client. I usually just make them all the same size, and they can just easily look at all these right in a row to see. Oops. Ooh, didn't mean for that one to not get dragged over. So they can kind of see what they like, and I'll put this in Photoshop and save it as a JPEG so they can view it on their computer. And they can kind of see, ooh, well, I like this, but I like this part of the logo too, and they usually like to combine different elements of different logos. And I like to keep everything saved in one file until we pick out a final one, and then I'll just highlight. Let's say they picked out this one, I'll highlight it and I'll drag it into a brand new Illustrator artboard and save it and send it to them, and it's pretty much as simple as that. And you just kind of drag and drop, and it's really fun once you get all this stuff drawn out. That's the hard part. It's figuring out what needs to be drawn. The concept is the hardest part to do. So that's just something real simple, how to create a logo in Illustrator, and I'll do more tutorials about it soon. So hopefully you enjoyed it.